contact before you move through the string and play with your nail. So in either
on the
case,
second string.
we're going to
Once
be
again, the thumb's
here
always going to be
on
out
the
in
left
front.
side of the
So we're gonna
fingertip
play 4
at the high
times.
edge of that tip itself. From here, we're going to make sure that
And
our
then we're
finger
gonna
is
place our thumb
curled
on the
third string, and we're going to alternate
And
again. When we go to play, we're going to make sure that we don't collapse our
Then
finger.
the thumb goes to
Once
the
you move
fourth
through the
string.
string, it will do so, but not before. So
the
now
fifth
you're just
string.
going to give enough pressure to play through the string, and finally
then
to
you
land
sixth
string on the next string, or you rest there. Hence the name. For demonstration purposes,
So
I'm
watch
only
me do
doing
that
it
a couple
few
of
times.
but
I'm going to
at
place
home,
my finger.
you might want to
on the
practice
high
each one at least 10
tip
times
of the
before you
fingertip
go
on the
on,
left side,
or
and I might
more,
move around until I
depending upon
find the
how
spot
long
that
it takes
feels
for you to
good.
become
And then I'm going to play
with this. You don't have to master it yet.
And
just
then I
get
rest
comfortable.
on
Now,
the
the
second
exercise
string.
is going to continue.
Again, and one more time. Now you'll want to repeat that many, many times till you're comfortable with it. Just take the time getting used to going back and forth in and out of the string. Once you've done that, we're going to go on to the middle finger, doing exactly the same thing. So we would place our middle finger on that left side of the fingertip at the very high edge. And again, move around if you need to find it. And once you're there, play through the string, right? Once again, you're not going to collapse before you play. There's your sound. Again, take your finger, place it on the high edge, find that fingertip, play, and one more time. So again, you're going to practice each one of these individually over and over and over till you really feel comfortable with them. When you do, it'll be time to figure out how to combine them and alternate them. Once you have your thumb on the sixth string, we're then going to take our index and middle fingers and we're going to alternate them, I and M, on the second string. And then we're going to take them and we're going to go to the third string. Now, how you get from string to string is something you want to think a little bit about. You want to imagine that someone just comes, grabs your elbow, and pulls you back. So it's as if you're just moving this way. And that way, as you're moving across the strings, you're keeping the angle of the fingers and the mid-range of motion and everything that you were working on the same. You're just playing on a different string. So we're on the first string, onto the second string. Take your time. Move to the third string. Now I'm doing this a little faster than you might do. You might need to slow down and hunt around for that fingertip the first couple of times you do it, and that's okay. Third string. Fourth string. Fifth string. And when you get to the sixth string, your thumb is in the wrong place right now. So you have to move your thumb away and you have to play with your index and middle fingers without the thumb down. Now this should be a little bit more challenging, or I'd say it could be a little more challenging. It is for me, because your thumb's not stabilizing the hand. It's up in the air. So I go a lot slower when I get here and make sure that I place everything correctly. So let's put that exercise together now. We're going to start by playing with our index and middle fingers on the top string, bringing our thumb down to the sixth, and then we're going to take our I and M, our index and middle fingers, and we're going to alternate them down all the way. Now, one thing you want to notice is that I do anticipate slightly the next finger. So if you see that my middle finger isn't completely in the string before the finger comes out, that's okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got you started on the right hand. Now it's time to talk about the left hand. Now the left hand has 4 different positions it can find itself in when we play. And we're going to start with the simplest one called parallel position. Now before we actually take our fingers and place them on the neck of the guitar, I want to talk to you about a few of the concepts to keep in mind. So the first thing is that you want to have your fingers curled. You don't want them to be flattened out, too brought into the fingers, if you will, or into the hand. You want them to be in this C shape, if you will. The thumb is also going to be contacting the strings, or the neck, I should say, on the pad. You don't want it flexed like this. If you do this at home, you'll notice that you instantly start feeling a lot of tension in the hand, and you haven't even put your thumb on the guitar yet. So make sure you avoid playing that way. So the thumb, the C shape in the fingers with this curl. When you play, you want to be on the fingertips. And you want to be at the high edge of the fret. So if this is our fret, this is our 12th fret on a classical guitar where the neck meets the body is the 12th fret. And here's our fret wires. This would be our higher fret. So we would want to make sure we're snug up against it. We don't want to touch it because we get a muted sound. We want to be right before it, where we get a full sound. So as you then take your hand and put it on the strings, you want to make sure that you're moving from the knuckle. So we're bringing that fingertip to the string. We've got that C shape going. We're at the high edge of the fret. Our thumb is underneath the side of the neck of the strings we're playing on. So what that means is that my thumb is, say, underneath maybe the 2nd or 3rd strings. It's not over underneath the 5th strings, and it's definitely not popping up because my hand looks like this. The left hand also needs to be in its mid-range of motion. So we don't want to be like this, or this, or this, or this. We want this. Now the last thing we need to think about in our left hand position here is our knuckles. Now we're in this parallel position, and we've got our fingers curled. Our thumb is underneath the neck on the pad. We're on the fingertip at the high edge of the fret. And our knuckles, because of all of this, by default, if you will, are going to be parallel to the neck. Hence the name, parallel position. So now we're ready to actually play. So we're going to play a note, and we're going to use our index finger to play the first note, and then we're going to use our middle finger to play the next note, practicing our alternations. So you place the 4th finger note down. using that fingertip. And from the knuckle, you're going to play. Then you're going to just lift up with the knuckle. You're not going to move the hand in any way. And you're going to place it back down. You play with the M finger. Lift up, place back down, play with the I. Lift up, place back down, play with the M. So you're getting used to this idea of that you're coming to the string from the knuckles. We're going to go on to the third string. We'll do that a couple of times. Second finger. And now we get to the first finger. And we have to talk a little bit about the first finger because the first finger doesn't come down perfectly on the fingertip like fingers 2, 3, and 4. It has a little lean back. And it's almost like it's on the left side, or right side, I should say, of the fingertip to play. Just like you're on the side of the fingertip on your fingers when you're plucking strings. So if you notice, the fingers in the left hand fall into place naturally this way, with the first finger leaning back a little. If you do this, you can try this at home, you'll see it just doesn't feel comfortable. So when you do practice playing with the first finger, just keep in mind that you'll be leaning back. So let's play a few. So get comfortable practicing these finger movements from the knuckle, combining all of the different elements we discussed. Once you do, then we're going to start synchronizing the left hand and the right hand with different finger combinations in the left hand.